Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Temple Buddhist Center's Sunday meditation service. My name is Victor, and I am honored to be of service this morning. Of course, we want to begin by wishing everyone, both our near Sangha and our far Sangha, or what we lovingly refer to as our PJ Sangha, because they're all at home in their PJs enjoying the service. We want to wish everyone a very happy, loving, and warm Father's Day. And of course, we also want to recognize that not everyone was blessed with a biological father who was present or was conscious. And so a warm, happy, loving Father's Day for everyone, and especially to those that represented that father figure for you in your lives. And so we welcome everyone this morning. Let's begin our service with some conscious breathing. Conscious breath work is where we seal the mouth, breathe deeply through the nose, hold that breath for a few moments, and then release slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Holding that breath for just a moment, perhaps feeling in our heart that person or that particular individual that represented a father figure for you in your life. And as we release that breath, we send warmth, love, and good wishes, remembrance, and a second conscious breath together. Holding for a moment and releasing slowly. And as you release, letting go any worries or concerns from the week. We're not escaping, we're simply balancing those different challenges with time spent in the sacred, time spent in spaciousness. And a third conscious breath together. Holding for a moment and releasing. And as you release, feeling the body relax, settle a little more deeply into the chair or the cushion. The shoulders drop, the eyebrows unfurrow, the forehead softens, the belly releases, and we find a new level of ease with every out-breath. So here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our service with a little bit of chanting. Chanting is not about being a singer. Chanting is about having a voice. It is about a deeply devotional expression of what is sacred within you and sharing that with the entire universe. Our chant this morning is Om Ami Dewa Ze, Om Ami Dewa Ze. You might recognize Om in Sanskrit. This is the seed sound. It is the sound of the universe, reminding each and every one of us that we are a beautiful note in a grand cosmic symphony that is forever playing. So let's take a conscious breath together. And let's begin. Om Ami Dewa Ze. 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 Om Taze, a chant that enhances compassion, compassion for all beings. And as the Buddha said, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. And so once again, welcome to Temple Buddhist Center, or TBC, where we practice Western Buddhism. Western Buddhism is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. And this new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, it's growing, it's learning, it's changing with us as we discover more every day about this incredible human experience. It is inclusive, it is active, and focuses on core Buddhist insights, meditation, mindfulness, and their practical applications in our daily lives. Our goal here is not to get everyone to agree on a specific lineage or philosophy or even sect of Buddhism, but rather it is on a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting together, whether we are sharing from the heart, or spending time in noble silence, we respect that you will participate at a level that is comfortable for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our Buddha nature, as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, bringing a fresh and a new perspective on each and every encounter. The second jewel is the Dharma, the truth teachings that release us from fear, from delusion, and help us to realize the true nature of who we are. And finally, Sangha, an essential part of growth, our spiritual community, where we come together to practice with each other and to help each other along every step of the path. And so at this time, let's go ahead and take a moment to silence any cell phones, any electronic devices. If you're at home, anything you need to do to prepare a contemplative or a meditative environment. We're going to begin with the prayer of refuge, which we will recite 3 times for the 3 jewels, beginning with a conscious breath together. Let's begin. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. And so, as we prepare now for a time in meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then we invite you to practice in a way that is fitting for you this morning. If, however, you are newer to meditation, we're going to begin first with a dedication of intention. We will awaken the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. And then our teacher today, Mr. Robert Brumet, will lead us in a guided meditation that's designed to assist you in moving into the stillness. We will spend approximately 10 to 12 minutes this morning in noble silence, connecting not only here with our Sangha in this room, but our greater Sangha outside of these walls, connecting with them all in consciousness. Afterwards, Robert will lovingly bring us out of meditation. We will sound the return bell, and then it will be time for today's Dharma talk, or teaching. And so with that, let's take a conscious breath together. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are.
As we hear the sound of the bell fading into the silence, we allow the mind to become still. We allow the body to relax. We allow the heart to open. With each breath that we take, we deepen this resolution for an open heart, a clear mind, a soft and relaxed body. Let each breath that you take be a deeper commitment to the silence, to the stillness. In the silence lies the reality of who you are. It's always there, but in the silence we have the opportunity to realize it more deeply. Breath by breath, breathing consciously, deeply, slowly. Feeling the breath in the body. The breath does not exist all by itself. The breath occurs in the body. So we feel the entire body as it breathes. With each breath, we relax, we open, we allow, we rest in the stillness of this moment. As you continue to feel the breath in the body, I invite you to add hearing to the repertoire of your awareness, just letting the sounds come to your ears. Feeling the body, hearing, being aware of thoughts in the mind, desires and emotions. And in a moment, you will hear the bell ring, and as you do, I invite you to gently open your eyes and include seeing in your practice, so that after the bell rings, you're fully present to all senses. Relaxed body, clear mind, open heart, fully aware and fully awake to what's here right now. And here's the bell. Good morning. Nice to be here with you on this rainy Sunday morning in June. Let's enjoy it, because it probably will be a while before we see another one like this. The title of my talk today is Welcome to the Grand Illusion. And that rings some memories for some people. Was it Styx, I think, that sang that? So, what is the Grand Illusion? Maybe not according to Styx, but according to Robert Brumet right now, and many, many others. The Grand Illusion is the very, very deep-seated belief that the world that we see, hear, touch, taste is real. I mean, that's so deep-seated we assume it's true, and question anyone that questions that. Thank you. Our conventional worldview in the West and in the East, and just about everywhere in the world now, is that we live in two realities, one inside of us, thoughts, feelings, that are constantly changing, that are powerful but not really always real. But the world outside of us is solid and real. That's reality. And science is focused on studying that reality, and we have turned our belief in what's real over to science for the most part. You know, if we say it's scientifically shown, that's our way of proving something. In a court of law, you know, we use science as the evidence. You know, if someone cites the Bible and someone else cites a scientific study, which one is the jury likely to believe? Because that's our standard right now. And that's not all bad. but it's not all real either. There's a postmodern view emerging, and I'm not saying that's real either, but it's a different way of seeing what we call reality. And that is, the postmodern view says that the external world is really a construct based upon the relationship between the observed and the observer. So that we don't see things, we don't experience things as they are, but it's more a relationship between what they are and what we believe. So, we all look at a tree and maybe have different beliefs about that tree. You see, we don't question that the tree is real, but on the other hand, the meaning that we give to it depends upon our perspective. If we're a lumberjack, why, that tree means I've got some work to do. If we're a environmentalist, it means I've got to tie myself to that tree or whatever. If, maybe it's a tree from our backyard and house where we used to live. It brings up all sorts of memories for us. So the world we live in, we believe is real, and then this world outside of us touches feelings and thoughts inside of us. That's the prevailing view right now. However, recent scientific research, and here again we come back to science as our yardstick. Recent scientific studies of the brain show that we do not see the world as it is. We see it more as we are. What's important to remember, to remind ourselves, is that the brain, which is not the source of consciousness necessarily, but the tool by which consciousness operates, the brain evolved not to show us reality or to give us ultimate truth, but the brain evolved for one reason and one reason only. What might that be? To survive. Well, it's an evolutionary mechanism, an organ. Just like everything else in our body, these were created for us to stay alive physically. So the brain will do whatever it needs to do to protect us. It doesn't give a damn about reality. It only cares about protecting this body, or in some cases, this ego, because we're more identified with the ego than we are with the body most of the time. So the brain is about protecting the sense of self. We've all had the experience of how something that seems threatening or dangerous will just take over the mind and we see nothing else. It's the story of if 99 people in a room love us and one person in here hates us, which one are we going to be most concerned about? There's many ministers I've talked to, over the years, and they'll say, I don't understand it. 99 people in my congregation will come up and say, I really loved your talk. And one person will come up and say, Reverend, you really blew it today. So which one do we take home with us? Which one lives in our head for the rest of the week? See, so we're conditioned to see what appears to be as a threat. So in a sense, we're programmed to think negatively, because if you think in terms of evolution, those creatures, those animals, and those people in particular that were positive thinkers, they had a name for them at that time. You know what it was? It was called lunch. If you thought positively, you were going to be a meal pretty soon. If you thought negatively, you're more likely to survive. You know, just imagine that you're a million years ago, you're living out on the savannah in Africa, and you look around and you see a beautiful mountain, you see a beautiful lake, pond, beautiful trees in a forest, and then you see a lion. Which one is going to capture your attention? You're probably not going to say, what a beautiful mountain. We're going to fixate on that which is dangerous, as it should be. If we didn't do that, we probably would not survive, you see. So we're always looking out for what's threatening, not just to our physical body, but like I say, today we identify more with the ego. So we're also on the lookout for anything or anyone that's going to threaten our sense of self, our ego. And of course, we're going to be drawn to those people that make us feel safe, both physically and ego-wise. We filter our perceptions based largely upon our needs, our survival needs. Survival meaning basically, self-protection, getting enough food, protecting family, and reproducing, mating. So the mind is always interested in one of those. There's a classic story about a middle-aged woman that was quite lonely, single, sitting on a park bench as she did just about every day. And one day, a man about her age sits at the opposite end of the park bench, and she looks at him, and he's a little bit rumpled and disheveled, but not a bad-looking guy. So she says, you come here often? He says, no, I don't. He says, I haven't been here for many, many years. I've been in prison for the last 30 years. She says, oh, really? What were you in prison for? And he says, well, I murdered my wife with a hatchet. And she nodded and looked at him and says, oh, so you're single. Okay. So, that's a joke, but in a way it's true, isn't it? That when we're filled with desire for something, we filter out everything except, this is what I want. Whether it's a mate or lunch or whatever you feel like you're needing right now, everything else fades into the background, you see. And of course that happens in less dramatic ways, but it's the same thing, he drinks too much, but still he's such a charming man. Or she's so beautiful, that's all that matters. Taking the male version of that, if a lonely man sitting there and a beautiful woman comes and makes herself available to him, he's not going to do a background check or check her credit rating, or he's going to say yes, you see. And so we become fixated. We become myopic. We take the 1% that we're interested in, either that's potentially going to harm us or potentially can give us what we need, and that's what we see, and we tend to filter out everything else, you see. So we see in terms of friend, foe, and maybe potential mating partner, if in some cases. We identify with a sense of self that we sort of feel like it lives somewhere between our eyes and our ears, right? When you just get in touch with me, it's like there's this little ghost, right? Lives up here, looking out through the eyes. And this is the CEO. This is the me that's in charge. I decide what I do. I decide what I say. I observe the world from these eyes. This is me. This is what I want to protect, because this is what I am. You know, I have a body, but this is who I am. Well, brain scientists say that's all an illusion. It's kind of an insult, isn't it? It's all an illusion, that the sense of self that we have is largely a construct. It's largely a construct, sort of like a hologram or a movie picture. It's based upon a number of different parts of the brain firing up and interacting with itself. So it's the sense of self, not just physically, but psychologically, is a hologram, is an image, is a construct. Studies show that the brain, the unconscious brain, that is the part of the brain we're not aware of, makes decisions long before we're aware of those decisions. There are studies with functional magnetic resonance imagery, fMRI. We all know what an MRI is, but the fMRI is when the brain is active and they're watching the brain do its thing. And they can tell what's going on by which centers they're firing up. So there's a center for making decisions. And by studying that, and then studying the decisions that a person makes or thinks they make, we can find out who's really in charge here. And they've found that the brain will make a decision before the CEO, before me, is aware of making that decision. How long do you think it is before that person is aware? You know, a millisecond, half a second, up to 5 or 6 seconds. So when you choose to pick up a glass of water, evidently my brain decided that while I was still talking, you see. And who's talking? Well, I am. But what if I'm an illusion? So it's quite interesting and quite challenging and quite exciting. There's even been studies where they've been able to predict decisions people will make with virtually a 100% accuracy, because they can tell by the part of the brain that's firing up. So here's what they see, and then here's what happens 5 seconds later. And boom, 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 boom. So who or what is that that's making those decisions? Well, the brain scientist, anyway, would say it's that evolutionary brain that's doing all of this to protect us or to make us feel good. But it's all about safety and appearance. None of this is a surprise to the Buddhist. None of it. Because in ancient India, long before the Buddha physically was born, Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, the Hindus, again, the Hindus is a huge umbrella, but the religions of India all believed that the world they lived in was an illusion, Maya. They saw it as the world of appearances, which we get lost in. And our work, our spiritual work, is to see beyond Maya, the appearances. It's got nothing to do with the Mayan Indians in Mexico. It's a Sanskrit word. Maya means appearance or illusion. It's interesting, those two are synonymous in a way, appearance and illusion, because to us an appearance is something that's real. Maya, interestingly enough, it comes from an Indo-European language, of which many of our words have their origin, and Maya is the root word for many English words. Magic, that would make sense, right? Maya and magic. Matter, and mother. And they're all connected. Mother, matter, and magic, you say. And all of this is part of the grand illusion. And from the Hindu perspective at that time, our work was to see beyond it and to not be entrapped by Maya. The Buddha discovered that Maya is not so much in the world as it is in our own awareness, that we create it, which is, again, what the brain scientists are saying. The Buddha's insight was that this reality is based upon our thoughts, our desires, our fears, our hopes. And he did that 2,500 years ago. Now with the magnetic resonance imaging machine, not in a scientific experiment, but sitting under a tree in the silence. He discovered, I won't say it's the same thing, but he discovered essentially that same phenomenon, that we, in a sense, create our world based upon our needs, our desires. And the Buddha and the Buddhist teaching, the Dharma, tells us that this world that we see, this world of appearances, is really constructed ultimately, as well as the sense of self, by the way. The self and the world are hand in hand. That this is based upon, guess what? Greed, hatred, grasping. That it's our clinging, our resistance, our identification with our thoughts, our feelings, our desires that make the world appear real. Because when we are identified with craving or identified with fear, the world then becomes a projection of that resistance. When we are able to release that through the Four Noble Truths, not only we become free, but the world looks very, very different to us. We see the world more, you might say, as it is. And I want to close with this quote, not from a Buddhist, but from a Western mystic, William Blake, whom some of you are familiar with, I'm sure. An Englishman, I believe, that lived 1800s, I believe, or late 1700s. He said this: if the doors of perception were cleansed, think in terms of releasing greed, craving, aversion, then everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through the narrow chinks of his cavern. And I'm going to read it again. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to woman as it is, infinite. For woman has closed herself up till she sees all things through the narrow chinks of our cavern. In other words, we see the world through these knotholes. It's almost like we're looking at a baseball game through the knothole in the fence, you know. So welcome to the Grand Illusion. Enjoy it. Don't get lost in it. But have fun. And above all, stay awake.
Thank you so much, Robert. So let's take a moment to simply embody the teachings, dropping from our head into our heart and just feeling the truth of the Dharma. And as we transition now from our Dharma talk into a heart practice time, it's not uncommon to take a conscious breath or shift your posture or adjust your clothing or whatever, stretch a little. And so our heart practice today is a metta practice. And metta means loving kindness. So it is a loving kindness practice. It is not intellectual. It is done through the heart, as the heart. And sometimes people like to create an outward gesture. So maybe you place your hand on your heart for this practice, or you create the Anjali Mudra, or perhaps both hands. Some folks like to sit in the meditation posture with your hands on your lap, but we invite you to flip them upside down. So it's sort of an outward expression or radiating this heart practice. And with that, let's take a conscious breath. And as you exhale, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of you, a full body image of the form that has been given your name and that has accrued the many experiences over the years. And holding this image in your mind's eye, recite silently to yourself these words of metta practice or loving kindness practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. I be well in body and mind. And may I be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a friend of yours. Holding this image of your friend in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a difficult person in your life, a challenging person. Could be a boss or a co-worker, a neighbor, a classmate, or a political figure. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of the world, all the plants and the flowers and the trees, the animals of the land, the sea, the sky, and all sentient beings, including ourselves. Holding this image in our mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe from inner and outer dangers. May we be well in body and mind. And may we be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And in the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, which means not in return for anything that you have received today, but rather so that those who may be seeking refuge may find it here in this temple with these teachers and teachings. The Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall, and we take a moment of gratitude for all of our wonderful ambassadors, those folks who have signed up for monthly electronic giving. It's not about the amount. It's just that the regular monthly giving helps us to set a budget here at TBC. If you'd like to become an ambassador, just stop by our website, or you can also scan the QR code, which is in the cards in the seat in front of you. Also, tremendous gratitude for all of our volunteers, those folks who help us each and every day to find more opportunities to bring Sangha together, opportunities for growth and enrichment. Gratitude to Rochelle for your beautiful music. Thank you so much, Ricky. Gratitude to Mr. Robert Brumet for your teaching, your wisdom, your friendship, your mentorship. And especially gratitude to each and every one of you for sharing your heart and your presence and your practice with us here at Temple Buddhist Center, where we certainly are the better for it. And as we prepare to end our time together this morning, I will put the Bodhicitta dedication up on the screen, and we will recite this once together as we prepare to end our closing bell. There we go. All right, together. May the pure, brilliant sun of Bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with the palms of our hands together in front of our hearts, as we go forth now from this place, may we enter each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, so much. Just a quick reminder, our lending library is right up front here. Please come up and check out all the wonderful books that our Sangha has put in there to share the Dharma with everyone. Also, I wanted to show you, this is a picture of the mandala that we created last night. Temple Buddhist Center hosted an LGBTQ peace vigil downstairs, and we had a wonderful, very loving group of people come through. Somewhere around 50 or 60 people came to put their hearts and imbue the mandala with love, appreciation, kindness. Several members of our Sangha who are here this morning actually spoke at the vigil last night. So again, thank you everyone for helping create a loving, more compassionate, kind, and caring Kansas City, emanating from our hearts right here at TBC. Also, today, it's Third Sundays, which means Authentic Relating class at 1 p.m. Tim and Brian are here and have created a very warm and safe, structured environment for adults to learn to speak more honestly, more authentically, and from the heart, using different structures and activities and games that are designed to help us break through some of those barriers. So again, thank you, both Tim and Brian, for everything that you do. And on first Sundays is Interplay. And as always, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter or also volunteer opportunities, which is on the counter right outside the door. And also, don't forget that after our service is our post-service discussion group. So that meets in the hallway to the left. So as soon as you go out the meditation hall doors, turn to your left. Downstairs is delicious tea, coffee, water, and crumble cookies. You can grab those and come on up and join members of the Sangha to talk about how the talk today applies to their life. Stop by our store anytime. And then also, finally, I will leave this up on the board. So many wonderful opportunities for Sangha Connect. Dave leads Recovery Dharma on Thursday nights. Karen and Matt lead the Buddha and the Bean on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock. Coffee and celebration of awakening in all of its forms. There are many wonderful things going on. Buddhism and 12-step recovery today at 12:30. So again, thank you all so much for being here. And as you go into your day, I wish you peace, blessings, and umbrellas.